Hello everybody, my name is Alex and I'm an intern at CreaTV. Today I'm here to give you a little tutorial on how to start using DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is a free editing program like Premiere Pro that anybody can get, and it's just as powerful as Premiere Pro. So today I'm going to show you the basics because it's a little different, but it's not harder to learn. So here we are on Google. You would search up DaVinci Resolve. You would search that up and find the Blackmagic Design website. From here, you go to download and you would put your operating system that you have, and make sure to do DaVinci Resolve 16, not DaVinci Resolve Studio 16. Studio is the professional version. It has a little bit more, but nothing that is necessary for somebody who's just making normal videos. This is more for like Hollywood movies. So you would click, I have a Windows computer, so I'd click Windows. You fill out this little form. It just asks your name, your number, stuff like that. So let me do this real quick and I'll get right back to you guys. So now that you've filled it out, you would have this download right here. Mine already started automatically downloading, so now you just wait for it. The file is kind of big, so it may take a while. So I'm not gonna make you guys wait for this. I'll see you guys when it's done downloading. Show you guys how to install it. Okay, so now my DaVinci Resolve is installed, so I come down here to click it on Google Chrome. And here we have the installer, so you just double click this. And then you start going through the installer. Everything that's clicked already is safe and good for you to go. So just click install. I'm not going to press install again because I already have it installed, and I'm gonna take you guys to the next step. Okay, now that we have Resolve open, you just go down here to new project. If it's your first time opening it, you're gonna see a little dialogue trying to give you a tutorial. It'll ask you which editing software you're most used to. The one I said was Premiere Pro, so if you want yours to look like mine, you would click that. But then we just go down here to new project, title it whatever you want. This will be Resolve Tutorial, and then create. When you open Resolve for the first time, it'll look like this if you chose the Premiere Pro option. These little tabs down here take you through the different sections of Resolve. The first one right here is media. This is where you would go to take care of all your media, just kind of the basic. This is not really necessary at a beginner level, but if you keep working at it, you can get to this. This focuses more on quality of clips, exporting like larger files, stuff like that. And then the next one is cut. This is where you go to do a rough cut, so your clips would show up here after importing them, and then they will go here, and there's a little section so you can rough cut them to get just the section you want if it's like a big clip, and then you would put it down here in your timeline. Your timeline is where you do most of the editing. This is where you're gonna see the audio and the video clips that you're working on. So taking you to the next tab will be the Edit tab. This is where you'll do the bulk of your editing. The top here will be for video, and this is for audio. Once we import our clips, it'll be right here and it'll be easy to see. Fusion is a very advanced effects engine. This is where you come to make more effects-based videos. So things like bright flashing lights that weren't done on camera, blur effects, different filters. This is where you would come for that. Now, next is the color tab. And this is where you would come to color correct things, add hues to the overall video. This is pretty advanced and we're not going to be going over it this video, but maybe in the future we will. The next section is Fairlight. This is the audio editor. This is where you'd come in to make your audio louder, put different effects on it, equalize it, which is something way more advanced than we're going over in this tutorial. And then the final tab is Deliver. This is where you go to export your video out so that you can give it to somebody else. So starting in the media section, we're gonna go to File, Import File, and Import Media to start importing our media. So for here, I'm just going to go here, get this one clip. Put, don't change. And I'll show you why later. So now that we have this clip, this was from a short film I had to do for school. This is now in our media section. So we can go to cut, put it into the timeline, and now we can kind of get a rough, do a rough of it. We don't really need to do a rough of this one right now. So we're just gonna move on to the edit section. So now that it's here, we can see that our video 1 is here and audio 1 is here. If you want to add more audio, different channels will start popping up, and the same with video. So for this one, we're just gonna do a quick cut edit for this. So say I only want this section starting here. There are a few ways we can do this. The quickest way and the most destructive way of the clip will be here. This is the cut tool. You would go where the line is, click it, and now you'll see that it's split it. If you go back to pressing the little arrow, this is moved and now they're separated. From here you can delete that, and that'll be that. But you could also press Control Z on Windows and Command Z on Mac to undo things, and you can go back to before it was cut. The next way, which are pretty similar, so I'm just gonna kind of chunk them together for the sake of this video, will be this. This is the trim edit tool. So from here, I would go, say, to the front of this clip. This clip is pretty long, so I'm just gonna cut it, delete this, and work from here. So from here, I can go to the front, and then you'll get this little weird looking thing going back and forth. You just click down on that, and now you can drag to where you wanted it. So that way, if you want, like you messed up and you didn't like how you did it, you can just drag it back. That is the way I would normally do it, unless I was trying to get rid of a large chunk of footage. So for this, we're just gonna go maybe to here. We're gonna go to here. So I'm gonna use the cut, click it right here. That red line tells you where it will cut. Go back to the little arrow, delete. So now we have this, and you can zoom out here so you can see how small our clip is in relation to our timeline. I'm going to take it all the way to the front to make it a little easier to work with, and then zoom in. There we go. Let me zoom in. There we go. So that's how you would get the rough cut in and start the initial thing, the initial edit. from here, you can, if this is all you wanted to do, you could now go to deliver and export it. But I'm gonna go in and start adding just a little bit of effects. So now we're just gonna add a simple transition, and to make the transition actually noticeable, I'm gonna have to cut this even more. So I'm gonna go here, cut, cut. So in this section, we will just delete this and make this, put it together. So now you'll see there's a jump. It's not super noticeable, but it's there. So we're gonna go up here to the effects library. It's the little wand with the sparkles coming out of it. You click here, and these are the dissolves. Well, first you would click video transitions. These are dissolves. They are smooth, kind of fading into each other transitions. These are the most common ones and are easiest on your viewers, like watching experience. So all you have to do is go to the one you want. I'm going to use the cross dissolve here. Drag it onto the clips. You see how it's in between? So that means it's going to dissolve these two together. So now that it's there, we can just go back and see what it does.
I wish I was good with it.
So you notice how it kind of faded the clip in together? That's what most dissolves will do, is just some of them are different. So the other transitions in our toolbox include audio transitions, which I'll show you guys when we get into the audio part where I add music to this video. Titles, which add wording and letters, which I will add to this video to show you guys how to do. Effects, which kind of gets really complicated and you have to start going into the fusion section. So I'm just going to leave that. And generators, which are more color stuff and are also a little more advanced than I want to get in this tutorial. So for now, we're just going to do titles. It was the same thing. So I'm going to pick L lower third. It'll put it in the lower third of the video on the left. So I just click and drag the same way you did with the cross dissolve. And then now you see up here, it's a little text editor. You can change the title, Resolve Tutorial. You can change the color of the letters. I'm gonna make this one red. And then you just put OK. You can even change the font. And then you go down and it's the second one. So I'm just gonna write the same thing. So I'll put DaVinci Resolve Tutorial. And you can change everything. Color, size, font, you can make it bold, italic, change the font. So that's how you would do that. And all of these have different text. These text titles all have different things you can change depending on where they are. These fusion titles get more in-depth. They're a lot harder to work with, so I would stick to the text titles for now until you feel a lot more comfortable with Resolve. So at this point, we now have a transition.
Wish I was good with it.
And a title for the lower third on our video. So now I think we will add the music. So now we go back to File, Import File, Import Media. I just downloaded a little guitar loop. So I'm gonna put that in right here. I want it to start where that title and cross dissolve start. So, but I don't want it to extend past. So I'm gonna go back, use our little cut tool, cut it. It should snap right to the end of the video and audio for the previous. So that makes it easy. You just go back to your little arrow, click on it, and press backspace or delete. Now we have a guitar loop going over, and let's listen to how that sounds.
Dang, I wish I was good with it.
So it's really loud, and it just comes out of nowhere. So what we can do for that is go to audio transitions and do crossfade 0 decibels, because we don't want to affect the volume and we just want to lower the whole thing all at once. So we're gonna click and drag, and then you will see the crossfade appear. Now because I know this is still loud, I want to go into Fairlight, just really quick, Audio 2, and this is your little mixer track. So A2 for Audio 2, and then you just look for the one that corresponds with it. This is your volume fader. All you do is click and drag down to where you need it. I think -11 should be fine. We can double check.
This band's good, right?
So I think we should still lower it a little bit, but we can also go to Audio 1 because they're kind of quiet now. We can go and raise their volume to make them punch through the guitar. So let's see how that is now.
This band's good, right?
There, that sounds good. So now, once we're done with all of this, we'd go back to edit. And because this is a CreaTV tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to export so that you can have it ready to go when you want to send it to them. So the easiest thing to do is, now that these clips are cut, we right click on it and go to clip attributes. We see that this is already at 29.97. If it isn't at 29.97, you need to change it right here on the drop down. You have a bunch of options, but the one that works for CreaTV is 29.97. We click OK, and let's just double check for the second one. We're good to go. So now what we would do is go to deliver and start messing with our export settings. So here you change the name. You can do custom, YouTube, Vimeo, H.264. These start getting more complicated. I'm going to show you guys the custom one that would work for CreaTV so you can send it in and not have any problems. So file name, just name it what you want. This will be Resolve Tutorial for me. And location, I'm just going to put it on my desktop so it's easy for me to find. So I'm just going to render it as a single clip. We want the video exported. And format, you should change your format to MP4 and make sure the codec is H.264. This will work much better. So down here, your resolution, CreaTV takes 720 or 1080p. 1080p is 1920 by 1080 HD. If your video is that high resolution, I would recommend it, but if it's not, you can always do the 1280 by 720 HD. So now we go, and it says right here our frame rate is 24, but we know we need to be at 29.97. So we can click 30. 30 is about where it should be. It's 29.97 is 30, so it should work. And everything else looks okay with me. Let's just go to audio to double check that we are rendering that out. And we are good. So now that we're all done, we click add to render queue. And this is ready for us to render now. So now we click start render. It will render the video out. This may take some time depending on your computer or how big your video is. I made this video short, so it's pretty short and should be done right away. Awesome. Now that your video is done exporting, you can make sure to open it up. I found it on my desktop. Let me close Resolve. Here it is on my desktop. So now I'll double click and the video should open with those render settings.
Oh, nothing. No.
There you go.
I was just saying,
Now
I
we
wish
just
I was.
wait, make sure everything works. And everything works. Awesome, so now we have a finished video. And if you want to save your video or the project so you can keep working on it, maybe add stuff, you would just go File, Save Project, and you're good to go. Now you can fill out your form and be ready to upload your content onto CreaTV. So thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope you learned a lot. Remember, DaVinci Resolve is a very powerful program, and it might not seem like it at first, but once you start getting the hang of it, this is a very good program to know how to use, and it's 100% free for the lower version. So thank you guys, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial.